Marta is an architect specialized in the humanization of healthcare environments with a pioneering focus on the design of hospitals, maternity wards, with over 15 years of experience transforming birth spaces through architectural strategies rooted in person-centered design and neuroarchitecture. She graduated from Polytechnic University of Madrid with a certification in universal accessibility. Marta is a co-founder of Virai Arquitectura, the studio behind award-winning healthcare projects in Spain and Latin America. She's also a co-founder of Parra Müller Arquitectura de Maternidades, which is a pioneering practice dedicated to humanization of hospital birth environments. Marta received many awards for her distinctive work, a co-director of architecture and hospital engineering and architecture at the University of Cádiz, and active in academic teaching, scientific committees, and public advocacy for architecture as a tool to improve healthcare environments. Please help me give Marta a warm welcome.
Good morning. Is it working? Yeah. Yes. Such a pleasure being here, just sharing with you all that things that we are living. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you very much for all the organization. Everything is gonna be perfect. So I'm here to talk about our work, well, more than our work, I mean our thoughts about birth and birth spaces. We call it Birthscape as the mix between birth and landscape, which is more or less what we try to promote, not only the room, but birthscape to be able to improve women to just to be much better what they deserve. So, Virai Arquitectura is the office I coordinate in Madrid. We have public projects and buildings since 2000, and well, we work in Spain and also in Latin America, and also in Gambia in Africa. And but I'm only the half of the only person we should be here. It's Ángela Müller. Ángela is an architect from Austria, and we both together discovered everything about our work in maternity architecture. So these are my 3 reasons why I'm here. It's Diego, the biggest one, the one which was waiting for me in Amsterdam when I flew there, Rodrigo, and Íñigo. These are my 3 reasons, but the truth is that in any of her births, I felt disconnected, with a lot of resentment and insecurity, and that's the motor I started working in. So I started working from feelings, from experience. So before talking about architecture, I want to talk about El Parto es Nuestro and Ángela and our years as activists. These are our 6 reasons why we work, my 3 and her 3. We are not together, okay, they're different 3. And when I met Ángela, she was pregnant of her second one, and Lucas, and we started to understand that something should change. So we co-founded El Parto es Nuestro, which is an activist association for women, from women to women through women. Just asking for the rights of birth. We started in 2003, and it was really incredible. How could I understand women that were very far away from my home, and with only one just sentence, we knew we were having the same feelings and the same, I don't know, everything was happening. So we decided to change the world. No limits. So we started to join more and more women. We started to, around Spain, first Spain, later we went to Ecuador, Argentina, much more. And El Parto es Nuestro started to knock every door, ministry, organizations, just universities, wherever we could talk to anyone, because we were just, we wanted to do it from the, from the need of changing things. We were talking to the Health of Ministry, in the Ministry of Health, sorry, in 2008, and it worked. So they started to change all the documents and all the evidence, and they promote with us and with a lot of factors and stakeholders. We made a new way of taking care of giving birth in Spain, and we were so happy. It was, it was not a law, but almost a law. So it was recommendations, and it was, what we needed to fly for the rest of the women in Spain. But that was not the truth. We connected to the same groups as us in all Europe. In every country, in every place you go, there is a group of women fighting against what we are done when we give birth. So that's ENCA. It's a network, a European network, which just improved us. It was empowered us a lot, and well, that's verbally, well, a lot of very nice women working in the same. So El Parto es Nuestro started to. It wasn't enough with the evidence. It wasn't enough with the ministry. So we started to do more and more campaigns. This is one I like a lot, because that's from 1975 to 2010. The difference between the days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, which women give birth. So in 1975, almost was in the same color. But now, can you see, the colors is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, then Friday, and then in white, Saturday and Sunday. Or, Christmas Day, or, the national days, so there's no births. Is it possible? Well, a lot of different campaigns against Kristeller, or maybe that's no entre sola. It means, please don't go alone to the consultant, which is really, it makes us think a lot, because, so El Parto es Nuestro gave us the motor and the energy to change things. First, as activists with our dear Seila Kitzinger, yes, we did as much as we could. Let's publish a book of photographs of C-sections. Okay, and let's we were just all of us doing things, talking to anybody. Where are you going to have your baby? And you, and you, and you. So that's the first moment of the activism, which is like, well, full of energy. Then we have to control it. Okay. So we started to travel around Europe, and first of all around Spain, okay? And that was what we saw in all hospitals we used to go, just to have a conference or whatever. So is it really the birthscape we deserve as women? Is it what we should continue designing? So that was what Ángela and I thought. Oh, I forgot to tell you something. I need to go to the other. My God, can you help me to go to backwards? No, I'll do it here. Sorry, yeah, that's true. Sorry. Done. Bueno, I want to talk about this first document, which is called Arquitectura Integral of Maternity Wards. That is from 2008. And we wrote that with a gynecologist, a friend of ours from El Parto es Nuestro. And that was the first document that we could find in Spanish in 2008. And it's so I mean, it's so bad. So I don't know. But that was the only thing we could do because we needed to do things to promote. And that was the first moment that we understood architecture and births can be together. Let's think how it works. So, our friends, okay. Our places. We continued just with our activism. You know, the Handmaid's Tale, we did some different because of asking for women's rights, and that's childbirth, we always be us, which means el parto es nuestro means childbirth is us. So it's like, it will continue being us, let's continue. So, but we realized, as women, we were not listened, you know. So we had to switch as architects because everybody thought it was more serious. So, okay, time to act. Let's start, you know, in black and white and, you know, okay, architects. As architects, we started to travel around Europe. We didn't know what to do. We had no examples, no references in Spain or anywhere. So we decided to travel to Austria, Czech Republic, Norway, Germany, UK, Nicoletta with us, you remember? And we were just obstetric tourism, you know, only hospitals. Have you been in the Tower of, no, only hospital. Okay, it was our drag. And Ángela and me started to understand what happened in another hospitals. So it was, it's not true that we can't have another birth after a C-section? No? Is it possible? Yes, okay. And it's, you know, so we understood how to do different things and how to use architecture, use design to promote it. So we traveled a lot. That's Ángela's daughter. So it's like, okay, we have to go with her. It was really funny. And we learned so much talking to a lot of people from everywhere, midwives, doctors, whatever. How is it working? Oh my God, that's a kitchen? That's a kitchen? It's like, is it a kitchen in the childbirth room? Okay. So we learned a lot. And that was what we saw. We understood a lot about how to do things. Not as much as the aspect or the design, but how can we do different things from all Europe. So there are a lot of, for example, for us, this was a revelation, you know? So you can open the box and there's something inside, so maybe you don't see it over the table. Does it fix? Yes, okay. So many things like that. Oh, yes, la liana. Or so many things, how to use curtains or whatever, not to see everything. We learned so much about birth spaces. So we realized we should explain this, and it's easy if we talk about space matters and design matters. That's La Alhambra. I don't know if any one of you have been here. That's a really special place where you feel different because architecture and design can feel as different. I want to introduce you, Florence Nightingale. I'm sure you know who she's not only a great nurse, she's not only the first nurse as we understand now, she was also a great mathematician. And she also worked in environments. She was the first one that said, if we change something, we can, her story is fascinating, but okay, that's here if you want to have curious of her. Thank you, Florence. So we had to explain what's happening with this space. And we started all our talks during a lot of years asking this question: where would you like to have that special conversation. Where? Where? Why? Why? What's happening with the light? What's happening with the sound? What's happening with the free movement and position? What's happening? You can choose the one who's beside you or behind you or with you. Here you can't. Intimacy. Quality of air. Just so many things. Privacy. You're always reading the book of the other, or the other is reading your book or your phone. So that's what happens in an indoor and very hard environment, and that's what happens if we could choose. That's what happened with environments and the way they impact us. So now we know a lot of things about architecture. That's everything I said. Thank you very much for your nice talk yesterday. Neuroarchitecture as the conversation between environment and brain. So let's understand what's happening outside to understand our responses, because we respond, our body and our mind responds. So what do we need? Neuroarchitecture has talked about a lot of things, but I want to use another concept, the enriched environment, which everything is mixed, but as I am not a researcher, I want to use research to feel like you. So that's a research I presented in the, well, not a research, that's a presentation in the seminar of engineer and architecture healthcare in Spain. And I want to talk about that for a minute. Hello, Mark Rosenzweig. He was a brain plasticity scientific. And in 1982, the year I was born, so 53 years ago. You? Yes. Good year. He studied what happened in rats that were inside of a small space with any stimulation, and what happened when the other rats, the other group of the rats, were in a very stimulated environment. So he said rats kept in a lively environment for 30 days show distinct changes in brain anatomy and chemistry compared with animals kept in a dull environment. The implications of these effects for man are assessed. So, conclusions in a brief way. Thicker cerebral cortex, more neurons and more complex connections, only because of the environment. So rich experiences in stimulating spaces, improved learning and increasing brain size. So we all know the bigger the brain is, much better for us. So Rosenzweig started with these studies, and was Rusty Gage, the one that continued with this, and told us about neurogenesis, which is the capacity to create neurons. Because when I was young, I was taught that the neurons you start with in your life, the neurons you have. You drink a lot, okay. You sleep less, okay. So in 1998, Rusty told us, no. There's the possibility to create new ones. The adult brain keeps producing new neurons. Enriched environments and exercise increase neuron production in adults. That's really different. So that's true that an enriched environment will make us much better. So thank you, Rusty, and we will have continued with all that neuroarchitecture. So what means enriched environments? There's the ones that promote social interaction, the one that promotes movement, sensory variety, you know, not only what you see or what you, everything all together, mixed multifactors, and cognitive stimulation. So if you mix everything, you get an enriched environment, which is what we should, as architects, try to get. So how to enrich the birthscape? Because it's full of stimulation. That's true, but that's not what we want. Can you tell me, no, 15 minutes before I have to finish, because hablo mucho. Okay, so that was the second big question we always ask in conferences and universities. Where would you like to spend a night of love, passion, and great emotions? Because that's what a mother told us that was his birth. My God. Really? Love, passion, and great emotions. Is it birth? Yeah, it can be, it can be. So let's choose the environment. And that's true. Space matters. Also in childbirth, really. So it was funny because at the beginning, Ángela and me wanted to, change things through architecture, but then we realized that it was much more powerful. Architecture had much more power than we thought. So it had really impact in births and lives. So that's our first baby, our first project. We were told to refurbish a surgery room for births, but we couldn't do anything. We couldn't change the floor, nor the lights, nor anything. So the only thing we did was, okay, let's put everything back and let's try to promote the side of the woman looking at any other thing. And that's a window, which that's a pity. There's a window here. So, we put a stick on the window, so, you couldn't see inside. And that's all. That's all. The rest of the things are exactly the same, but things changed. And it was in the surgery area, just in the basement. And, it fixed it. And midwives told us that when they wanted to meet or maybe have something, they liked to go to that spaces because they felt better than in the others. So it really works. So what could we do? Okay, let's do evidence. We are architects for practice, not evidence. We are not good just writing and trying to. So Estela Villarmea told us, you have to talk about that in a research and in an article. And for us, article was, for newspapers. And yeah, we will write down. No, it's not proper. It's not sharp. Okay, so it was a very hard article to prepare for us because we worked in another way. But at the end, we talked about the places for submission of the woman, how it could change it. So that was our first article research. I'm very proud. Thank you, Estela, because we were very disrupted. So we had a lot of evidence. So we assumed that strong scientific evidence would be enough to change things. But it wasn't. It is never enough. It is never enough because change comes from inside in birth experiences. So we decided to change from evidence-based design to experience-based design. What could we do? Okay, let's ask architects, let's ask designers to talk about their births, to tell us about how was the environment in their own births, to learn and to understand what from women that was involved in design and architecture, because we were sure they were talking to us a lot of things about, light and sounds, blah, blah. So, arquitecta, tell us your birth, cuéntanos tu parto, and we started to receive a lot of stories. We have learned most of anything we have learned about childbirth, we have learned from women birth stories. So they were from architects. Okay, let's see what happened. You know what happened? Most of the stories we received were written for architects, but as women, they forgot they were architects. In birth, that's survival. You're just there. You forget. So we had to ask, no, but about what you saw about, yeah. And it was funny to understand that we, just in that crucial moment, we became only mammals and women in birth. Anyway, we picked up a lot of stories, and we realized how environment could be arrow for obstetric violence. Obstetric violence is a term that we started to use in 2010, more or less, and I think it's the one we have to continue using. So, what happens if environment is promoting obstetric violence? Is it possible? Okay, let's try to find it, and let's try to understand how it works. So first of all is identifying institutionalization, which is just another intervention more. And the way we assume, or in an unconscious way, we associate different roles. So how is it possible? All the hospitals in all the world looks the same. So I go from here to another, and they look the same, always the same. Long corridors, with brights and the walls, and yes, always. It doesn't matter if it's from the 90s and it's from 2010. It's not a question of color or a question of pattern. It's a question of understanding how institutionalization, the ceilings, 60 per 60, the light and everything is telling us that you are in a hospital. Welcome. Look, this is the entrance to a birth room in Andalusia, in a hospital in Andalusia. Really? So, which associate, as a woman, as a pregnant woman, as a woman giving birth, what associations can we feel here? Probably industrial industry, or but it's always. So it's really important to understand what do we feel when we are in a hospital, and we are in everywhere. That's true. It's a birth room, I promise. That's in Spanish, but I'll try to translate. That was in a corridor, I was going to the paritorio, birth room, the obstetric area, and that's just on the same place that Unidad del Dolor, pain unit. That was casual, okay, but it's like, come on, really? Really? And when I was visiting this hospital, I said, excuse me, it sounds strange. We didn't realize, that's true. Nobody said anything, It's like, okay. So, some testimonies from Arquitecta Cuéntanos tu Parto. All I could see were hospital objects, devices, machines everywhere, just in case. It scared me thinking about what could go wrong, of course. So there are 3 essential needs during birth. We were talking yesterday about that, so I will only use some images and some figures just to remember privacy. So just arriving to hospital. So the first is going out home. I like this from yesterday, but take out your clothes, okay? Put something like that. I don't have to tell anything, you can see, okay? But no one feels comfortable and confidence with this. All of us have chosen our clothes today, we like going for the best moment of our lives. That's the dress. Privacy. What happens with that? Windows. What happens? No, that's because we need to know if it's been using. And that's like, can you imagine you are in a hotel and there's a small window in every door just because people that clean need to know if it's cubed? No, it's, come on. We like to take a picture from the eyes of the woman everywhere, every time we go to hospitals. So that was the picture in this birth room. So it's like, well, you can imagine legs and everything opened, and that's architecture. That's architecture. It has to be with architecture, not with assistance. Tied down, legs forced open, unable to close them. I shrank, ashamed. I felt like an object. Like an object. How many times? How many people is there? Hello. 13, 8. People that we don't know anything about them, looking at our vagina and our genitals opened. Safety. Let's start. ¿Qué me dices? Whoa. Okay, safety. Visual noise. What women see in hospitals. I need to go very quickly, my God. Calm. We call it disco birth room. That's what's happening in birth rooms now, okay? We now have the modern and nature. Let's see. That's not the way I think, okay. So let's talk about human-centered design. It means architecture has been always thought about for women, for men, The shape of the man is completely different than a pregnant woman. So we call it the repair shop storage. That's what happened with our bodies, They are elevated and they are exposed. And someone is repairing us, from everywhere. That's what we call it, submission. So it started to happen that there were changes. It started to make changes to keep things unshaded. So is it a gym or a bathroom? Everybody started to want the pie, the ball, and the ball, and the and everything, and the pool, and the blah. So at the end, it's not an atmosphere. So this birth pool is in front of the door, so which no one uses this, not at all. So let's talk about gadgets for vertical birth. We need to be connected to the earth, to the floor. We need our feet giving birth. So I want to tell you, we started in basic standards. One single room with only one point of entrance, with integrated bathroom, and of course lighting and outdoor reviews. So something happened in 1918, but it's a story, so I will pass. We were awarded with an award in Chicago, so everything in Spain changed, and everybody wanted to have something with us. So we started to change the new paradigm with movement also in births. So with affordable equipment in this movement. We need movement. Birth is the movement of the baby rotating and going through the birth canal, and the mother moving just to find how the pain is going down. So that's the position the baby needs to go out. So let's move. Okay, that's the first case study. I have 5, so I have trouble. That's Nuevo Belén, which we started with 2 rooms, talking about colors. The client told us blue and pink. I said, no, really? Really? Yeah, no discussion. Okay, pink. So this room had this furniture just to promote different positions and just to change like the scene, the scenario during all that hours. So we used, natural light, fabric, everything. No? And we learned a lot from home birth. So which has to be the dimension of this? Okay, we know a lot of people at home uses the table or uses the washing machine. That's a very important dimension. So we took all that knowledge to design this project, where everything is, but it's not on site. I'm sorry, I'm really worried about the time. Because I want to tell that rates, the outcomes. This is the line. This unit is in a hospital which has births in the common way. So that's the line of the C-sections, okay, from 2014 till now. That's the national one, okay, that's the Madrid one, and that's in that unit where space and way of work, physiological midwives work together. So that's, incredible how it fixes really. Okay, that's the difference. In the same hospital, same women, same everything. That's a private hospital. So in that hospital, we think is architecture is the tool for better things. It's not, it's not the final, it's only the tool. The second case study is in 12 de Octubre. That's a public, one of the biggest hospitals in Madrid. That's a public one. And the infrastructure was 40 years ago, and they wanted to change it. That's the maternity building. These are the maternity wards. As you can see, there is a corridor in facade, another corridor in facade, and women here. So, and a big corridor inside for the professionals. So everybody had corridors, family, professionals, but the women were inside of boxes, like that, So we decided to change. So first we did was just using the corridor to move the different rooms till the facade, just to what? To get some sunlight. We put the professionals in the center, and we shared a birth pool every 2 rooms. That was the first time we did it in Spain. So light, natural light, natural light, natural light. That's how we use the room for movement, for resting, bathroom, and place to work for the midwife. So midwife has their own work place and area, and that's the area of the women, which is with a curtain which allows women to feel with enough privacy, There are all the gases and so on are here, but with this design you don't see it. As I moved on the ball, I felt my baby and I knew everything was fine. There's also 2 rooms in the same hospital for stillbirth. So we designed a hall, a sitting room, just like an entrance for families with 2 different stillborn still rooms. So we decided this room had to be exactly the same quality, the same everything for that women that really need an enriched environment to pass this moment. Third case study, I will be very quick here because you're killing me. This was in Marbella Birth Center, home. Very nice, home. This is a birth unit into a private clinic. And it worked like an independent unit with the midwives and everything. So we decided to welcome the women in a consultant that looked like homely. I mean, we changed also the way of thinking about the consultant and the, the talks and everything that happens between midwife and women. Later on, it was the birth room, and we decided not to say the 1, the 2, the 3, the A. So we call it Sala de la Sirena, which means mermaid room. It was in Marbella. Marbella is in the Mediterranean. So we used patterns and ideas related to the sea, but in a soft way. That's the room with a double bed, that was our first time. In every project, we try to get something less. And exterior, please, there is a terrace in this room. You can see the Mediterranean if you want. If not, you can, you can control the light. But exterior is the next we have to do. So we published all that testimonies of women, Arquitecta Cuéntanos tu Parto, and Laura Cambra, which is a researcher. I have more time? Oh my God. Thank you. Okay, so let me tell you some. No, ya estoy para acá. Let me tell you something about that unit. Oh my God. No, para arriba. Aquí. Okay. Marbella is a place full of light, and it was a very special place where European women used to go to give birth because their husbands are working in, in this area, which is very, very active. And we decided to have a really home-likely ambience. So, but we had no money at all, so we went to IKEA. You all know, and I'm sure some of you have this furniture in their home. I'm sure, or not, but probably the rest. We used, of course, a sport facility. This is for a sport team. We call it in decathlons. That's storage, very, and of course for the privacy with these stores here, and I like to show this picture because it's in the back of the door, so privacy and all the legs of the woman would be always preserved because you open the door, you have this storage, but you have to walk 180 to go to see the woman in the bed, which probably the woman is not there, so probably she will be just in another place, just moving herself or wherever, maybe in the terrace or whatever. This is 10 euros. So we could do it. I spin poi on the terrace, gazing at the ocean, feeling the sun and wind on my face. It makes me feel strong and part of everything. So that's our second research. It's quite recent, and Laura Cambra was very patient with us again because we needed only the stories, but she needed to have it in a proper method and so on. So that's the impact of hospital architecture on the birth and experience, a phenomenological study with mothers-to-be who are design experts, which is Arquitecta Cuéntame tu Parto. So fourth case study is in Punta Europa, that's in Algeciras. But we have, oh my God, doesn't matter, sorry. It was in 2022, and we won an European Healthcare Design Award with this project, which is small. And you know, in London, all the rest of the projects for the award were huge and you know, with a lot of money. And this was a different and completely different thing. So yeah, we were very proud of this project, which is a public hospital again. Public hospital in Algeciras. Algeciras, Peñón de Gibraltar, Marruecos. Tanger is right there, you can see that. That's on a hill. So all that building from 50 years ago, the area of births is here, so it really has huge views and nice views. And that hospital is, that's in a complicated social area with a lot of complications. That's in the south of Spain, just where Morocco is touching Spain. And this is the area, the maternity ward, you know, this is the Peñón de Gibraltar and Morocco. So that was the layout. It was the labor room, delivery rooms, control for the midwives, you know, and a surgery. And the ambient was there. It was so old and small and, you know, noise view and everything. So interiors, no daylight, no views, no shower, toilet shared, no place for the family, no acoustic comfort, no privacy. That were the dilatation, no, the labor cubicles, and the delivery rooms were like that, you know, more than the same. Medicalized environment for normal birth, which is like, but we got the motivated midwives. That was the clue in this project, really. Because they were fighting against everything just to get this project. Some women from the north of Morocco crossed the Estrecho to go to that hospital to give birth, and this group of midwives can't speak Arabic. So they worked with these, you know, papers just to connect with them because they need to take care of them. So that was just before. That's only a little bit to know how are they. So the revolution of this project was using one window for every main room, for every birth room, and also for the sitting room of the doctors and midwives. So let's use the windows. And that was what happened. So let's put the control in the middle of the area just to get more safety and control. Let's get some sunlight through some of these consoles. We got different birth rooms with a shared bath, well, sorry, I forgot someone. So we decided to put here in the center, you know, with natural light through the center, and that was the entrance, a clear entrance area with a visible reception and better orientation. That's the layout, trying not to associate with hospitals, with materials, shapes, you know. Let's use curves, let's use, that's our marine area, let's use reference through boats and okay, Navy and everything. And that's the result, always for the supporter person, always with a place to rest, and with natural light, of course, and this domestic, more or less domestic environment, because it's not domestic. No one has this in their home. That's not. Acoustic ceilings and, well. So, what happened again? We were just learning from birth homes, using that equipment we designed. So we saw it, that the woman told us that she uses the esters of the litter to, so we decided, okay, let's use this for us. Well, not for me, for the hospital. Each one a little bit different than the others in shape, color, everything, just to create the sensation of singular and unique moment in all the women. And the birth pool shared for 2 rooms, which is is to optimize the resources. Here, the assistant can be sat or whatever. If you don't have a place to sit, you will be in a hurry always. Imagine you are a stand, you will be always, come on. And that's how we worked with the midwives to know how many storage and space they needed in this furniture. And the best thing is that these are quite old outcomes, but I couldn't find anymore. The births grew up when they started, and the medicalization of the births was down. So that was the same team, same city, same women, same everything, except the atmosphere, the ambient, the design. So it really works. Testimonies that we have just listened to. Anxiety, lots of peace, okay. That's another case study, very quick. That's in a public hospital, again, in Badalona, close to Barcelona. That's a birth center with only midwives inside of a hospital. That's the consultant, again, with this humanized atmosphere. That's the room. That's a hospital. Can you see that? This is a hospital. You open that, and the gases are here. But we worked with IKEA again to get all the rest of the furniture, birth room, details. And that's the postpartum room, if there are 2 women, they can open that sofa, but again, the atmosphere is it's not institutionalization. That's the last case study. This is a project that was a competition. We didn't win this competition, unfortunately, but it was a birth center close to a hospital. It was a public initiative in a hospital, and it was in Castellón, and there was a huge hospital, and they wanted a birth center close to that, and it was like, yes, that's the corridor that joins. So we designed this building, which wants to, abrazar the exterior, and that's the two floors. In the second one, there's the room, and I want to. No, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
It's okay.
Terrace in the bathroom. Enough. Oh my God. Thank you. the other project, I stopped with this, so that's the other project. Finally, the project fall down. It's not designed for anyone, but there was a project where the structure and the facades were built with wood and straw. So architecture can also take care of what's happening inside through their construction materials. So it's like we are adding, new levels of comfort and healthcare. So after these 15 years, that's the book we published on May. I'm very happy to present it to you. This is everything inside. Everything we know is here. It took us more than 6 years writing and just discussing and everything. Not because we worked a lot, if not because we needed to organize and cut and share and everything. And yeah, everything we know is here, more or less. And I would like to, I don't know which collection of books the other day at the exhibition, but I would like this book would be there as well. And I would like, well, that's for all of us. So that's in Spanish by now. And we hope we get these birthscapes through everything we continue. That's our next project. And that's great because there's a terrace inside. Construction is starting the day of tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. And we got a small terrace inside of the hospital. So that's a render, but it's going to be a reality in a few, I hope, months. And that's in the most important public hospital in Madrid, El Gregorio Marañón, which was designed for the famous architect Moneo, a Spanish one. So it's like we had to, to do something inside of this, oh my God. But we decided to think and put the woman in the center, so we don't mind if the rest of the building was for that famous architect or not. We decided to do something very familiar for the women, with wood, with this ambience, intimacy from the outside through this garden or small garden where you can go out. This is a door, you can with your ball or wherever. So that's all. That's what I think for these 3 reasons, which now means dignity, respect, and intimacy in this birthscape, because it's not the same. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Marta. Thank you.